Greetings, YouTube!
Well, I've recently increased the poundage on this bow, just because I wanted to see if I could. See if it could handle it, and of course it could. But, well, all I did to achieve that was I just took the string off, twisted it a number of times, and put it back on. So it's now pulling, I'd say, again, guessing, because I don't have the proper tools to measure the draw weight, but probably about a 70-pound pull at 28 inches. Anyway, since I did that, though, I'm getting real nasty slaps in this area from the string whipping past me. So what I'm going to do is build a van brace. Or a bracer, I should say. But since this is the longbow channel, we'll try to go a bit above and beyond and not only make it out of leather, but for the obvious portion that the string will be passing by, but also chain for the backside. So we're going to make some chainmail. So I guess the first thing to do is going to be to make these handy dandy little bitty tiny links. So let's see how that's done. So basically here's the rig I use to make the links for my chainmail. There's basically just a rod. This happens to be an aluminum spear, but all it has to be is a rod. And upon it I've placed this 16 gauge steel wire, which I'm going to wrap around this steel rod here, which is 5/16 of an inch in diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire and wrap it around this steel rod here that I've inserted into this handheld drill. And I'm just going to wrap this around here. And to secure it, I'm just going to use a piece of tape. Alrighty, I'd say that's pretty secure. Now, just to make sure I don't destroy my fingertips, I'm going to use this piece of paper towel to keep tension on the wire as it spins. And drill activate. Let's set it to gear number 2. Okay, now that I've wrapped this coil of wire onto this mandrel here, I'm just going to take my handy dandy side cutting pliers and trim the wire at the tape. Now I'll just remove the mandrel from the wire. Cut that free. And now that we have this big spring here, I'll just proceed to take these handy dandy side cutters and cut the spring bit by bit into individual links. Just like so. Oh jeez, this is hard on the forearm. that one rod has wielded quite a number of these little links. Alright, so now that all our individual links have been made, it's time to string them together. The basis behind making chainmail is making this, which is called the 4-in-1 link. What you do is you just basically you take 4 links, you pass them through one, and that's your starting point. So in order to do that, I'll just start off by taking a single link here, and I'll close it up because as you'll see, the twisting process has made it slightly off center, so I'll just give it a little bit of a twist. And then I'll pinch it together. And finally flatten the connection point. So there's one link done. I'll do 3 others. There. So now I've got 4 closed rings. I'll take a 5th ring and I'll open it up. And I'll take those 4 rings and put it onto this one. Now I'll close that ring. Yet another 4-in-1 has been completed. So now the trick is to tie these all together. So I'll put this on here, making sure that it's facing the same direction as the other 2. This is extremely fiddly. Hopefully you can see that the center ring of each of these, the angle is identical. They're all sloping kind of in this direction towards me. So now we're going to tie 2 of these 4-in-1s together using this link here. I'm going to take it and I'm going to pass it through the top of this link here, through the top of this link, through the bottom of this link, the bottom of this link, and then I'll tie it together. You might not be able to see this because my hand will be in the way, but we'll go through the top of that one, top of that one, come in through the underside of that one, and again through the underside of that one. I'll just take my pliers, just give me some leverage, and I can close it up. Pinch it closed, and then I'll pinch it this way to flatten the connection between the 2. So now we've got 2 4-in-1s linked together. See that they have a nice repeating pattern. See the 3 links in the center, they're all facing at an upward angle. And the 4 links on either side all have the same angle. Each of the links in the center is connected to 4 other links. So we'll pretty much do the same thing sideways. Take another link and we'll pass it through the top of this one, the top of that one, the bottom of this one, and the bottom of that one. Just take my link here, open it up, and we'll do that again. Actually, I'll do the opposite of what I just said. So I'll go through the top of those both on this side, and we'll go through the bottom of the other two, which basically comes out to the same thing. Now we'll just close it up. Cinch that a little bit, and flatten it out that way so it doesn't snag on anything. And there we now have 3 3-in-1s connected together. And we're ready to attach the final one to make this a nice little square. As you can see, it's extremely fiddly. It's hard to get them in the right configuration. There, it's pretty good. That's even better. The more of these you get linked together, the more stable it actually becomes, and the less of them get flipped over and turned the wrong way. So I have a final 4-in-1 to connect here. We'll basically have a 4x4 grid of 4-in-1s at that point. This one's a little bit trickier. I have to connect it in 3 places. I gotta connect this ring, this ring, this ring, and this ring together. I also have to connect this ring, this ring, this ring, this ring together. And finally, I have to connect this ring, this ring, this ring, and this ring together. So there are 3 connections to this main structure here. We'll start with the most difficult, which will be this ring, this ring, this ring, and this ring. So I'll just take my link, open it up a bit, and then snake it through the top of that one. Actually, we'll do the whole lattice here in here first, through the top of that one, top of that one. We'll come up through the underside of this one. And then finally, once again, up through the underside of the free 4-in-1. I'll now take my pliers, and close that link up. Flatten it out. We now have 4 of these loosely connected together. I'm just going to readjust the links again. So there's now 2 more connections to do. Next we'll link up this ring, this ring, this ring, and this ring. Once again, I'm sorry if my fingers are covering this so you can't see, but I just explained it. Top of that one. Top of that one. Bottom of that one. And again, bottom of that one. There we go. Close it up. Pinch it this way so it doesn't snag anything. Now there's only 1 more connection to go. You'll see as I get this more and more interconnected, the more and more stable it becomes. In terms of, maintaining its shape, the pattern and whatnot. So there's now 1 final link to attach. This link, top of that one, the bottom of that one, and the bottom of that one. There we go. We successfully connected four 4-in-1s together. As you can see, this is a time-consuming process. But the end result is some nifty armor. Now that we've got the basic technique down, we can make something a little bit bigger. So after about 15 to 16 hours work, just doing this process over and over, you'll end up with something like this. So this is my van brace bracer combo. I still have a fair amount of length to go on this. It has to be the same length as my forearm, plus a little bit. So I've got from my wrist to my elbow, which is nearly covered. I've got about maybe another 4 centimeters to go. And then I'll have the proper length there. And then I want to have a little bit of a triangle of chain going up to my 2 middle fingers here, which is going to be where it's secured. So, here's where I'm at right now. Attaching 4-in-1s successively to this point here. What I'm going to do is I'll take another 2 rows, put them up here, and then I'll be able to attach this nifty triangle that I just made right in there. So, not a triangle, rectangle. So, I'm assuming probably another 6 hours to 7 hours in this chain portion of my van brace bracer will be done, and then I can work on the leather portion that goes on the inside of the arm. So, after a tiny bit more work, I've finally finished this thing. And by a tiny bit of work, I mean probably about, maybe 20 hours total. See, this piece is now sufficiently long to go from my elbow to my wrist. And it's got this little triangular section up in front here. It's going to actually cover the back of my hand. And then a strap of leather will go around, and that's how it'll be secured. So now that that's done, I make a template, like so. And we got to transfer this template to this handy-dandy piece of leather. So what I want is a section pretty much the same dimension as the chain itself, comprised of leather to go on the bottom of the palm here. So just position that nicely on the leather, trying to avoid holes and little tick marks and whatnot. This section is actually going to have to be a little bit smaller in dimension, in all dimensions, than it currently is. So that's a good thing. As I get it put together, I'll then see what parts need to be trimmed off. Okay, there's section number 1 that's going to be made out of leather. Now, adjoining that will be section number 2, which is going to be a big hole in the fabric. So what am I going to do? Take this, and just for fun, shits and giggles, I'm going to add an inch along the bottom half here. It'll just give me something to work with. Okay, so the important part of this void here is that I copy this line. There to there. Okay, so now then, there's that little tick mark there that I want to avoid. And I'll go in between it and the one next to it. I'll just make this wider. This isn't going to really matter whether it's pointing that way or the other. This will all be getting strapped together. So instead of going to there, I'll go to here. Sorry guys, I'm kind of designing this as I'm tracing it on here. But hopefully once I get it done, I'll get the basic idea. What we have here is we've got our leather portion, which goes on the inside of the arm. This portion is going to wrap around and secure to that. We've got a leather strap along the bottom side here. That'll just kind of hold it all together. And finally, I'm going to have another strap coming up off of here, about as far as I can get it. And that is going to be the strap that goes around the two fingers here. Or is it? Oh no, it's okay, it's going to come off here, not here. It needs to be about double the length of that line, which is roughly 3.5 of those inch thingamajigs. Should be long enough that way. 8. I'll go 9. And this one doesn't need to be thick. Maybe half an inch. Centimeter, depending on what's your poison, whether you use antiquated measurement systems or more modern ones. I'm just going to round these inside corners off because otherwise there'll be tear points, and there, that is our basic pattern for our VAM bracer thingamajig. So now to cut it out. So now, what I have to do is in this funny looking void section here, I will take my chainmail and attach it in place. Now, there are a couple different methods of doing this. The one I was going to use originally was using this fancy schmancy leather lace, but then it occurred to me I could just bend the links here, punch holes in that, and link the chainmail directly to the leather. And I think that'll end up looking a lot cleaner, so that's what we'll do. So let's punch some holes. Alrighty, so I've carefully aligned all my links on here, most of them. And I'm just going to mark the center point of each one of these holes, or each link I should say. And that'll show me where I have to punch. More or less. So that's my first run of holes. Once that's done, I can just flip this over and do the mirror. So on my handy dandy hole cutter, I've got it set to the second largest setting. And I'll just begin punching them out. Second smallest setting, I should say. One side done. Now you may have noticed I haven't made them perfectly aligned to the holes. I've kind of eyeballed it a little bit and tried to get the holes in more or less a straight line. The edge of this thing is not a straight line. And now I also need holes along the bottom here, along this edge, and also along the whole length of this little ribbony thing. Alrighty then, so I've punched out all the holes now. On the sides, on the back, the other side, and half of them on the little strip that's going to be the finger strip. So now the thing to do is to attach the chain to the leather. On the side here, all I gotta do is simply untwist these links, put them through the leather, and twist them back up, which won't be too difficult. But on the bottom here, the links don't quite line up properly with the leather. So what I'm gonna have to do is add additional links to connect the bottommost links here to the holes I've made in the leather, which they correspond to. Just like this. So here for the links on the side, I'll just open that up. Through, seal it. That's one. And for the links on the bottom, it won't be so simple. I gotta take a separate link, open it up. This link, this link, that hole in the leather. And it's done. So that's all I gotta do. I just keep adding links along the bottom here, and on the side I open them up, put them through the hole, close them up. Easy peasy. So let's see what that looks like when it's done. So as you can see, I've accomplished quite a bit now since you've seen this project last. I'll just go over what I've done. I've attached the chainmail to the leather, as you can see here. Now, unfortunately, the chain ended up being a little bit too tight in the center area here, where my wrist was. So what I did is I removed 3 of the 4-in-1 links and replaced them with single links, and that served to tighten this section up a little bit. Here you can see where the loop that I made, the little strip that I made, loops around the 2 fingers and reattaches to the main structure. Unfortunately, this piece ended up being a little bit too short. I didn't make it quite big enough. But all I had to do was create an additional piece of leather and attach it here and here. I applied some super glue to it to attach it to the leather, and it's as good as new. So finally, what I've done is I've attached 34 eyelets up here, which I'm going to use to attach this side to this side. I've drawn an additional 34 eyelets down here. Now all I have to do is punch them out and insert them. So that's our next step. I have this set at 3/16 of an inch. Now that my holes are punched, all I have to do is insert the eyelets. Which I've got right here, attached to this handy dandy magnet to keep the bowl in place. One by one, the eyelets go into place. There, this thing is finally finished. Took a while to figure out how to correctly configure all these laces here so that the strings would pass directly through, but I've got it. And pretty much the only change since you saw it last, besides the laces, is that I put another set of eyelets on this end just to secure it to the arm. It's now ready to wear. Gonna slide my hand in here, put my fingers through the loop. It's a tight fit. I'll be back in a sec. So here's the finished product. Kind of dig this texture in the leather, makes it kind of look like faux gator skin. I actually needed help to put this on, because on design fly, I guess, neglected to realize that it takes two hands to tie a bow. But yeah, aside from that, I like the way it worked. So that should now be ample protection against my bow string slapping against me, giving me nasty welts, and in case some swordsman decides to sneak up on me while I'm at the range, I've got some protection from that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think and give it a thumbs up. Cheers!